A wise man once said, "We are all here to make a dent in the universe. Otherwise, why else even be here?" That man was Steve Jobs, who inspired millions across the world. We are here to meet one such person who was inspired and has met great success.
There's a lot of heavy lifting.
I think he's in a meeting. We'll wait for a bit.
No, thanks guys. Thanks a lot. Cheers, fine.
Okay, it's over. Let's go in.
Sure. Come back to Earth. Thank you.
Hi, pleasure to meet you, Karma. Umang Bedi. Pleasure.
Hello and welcome to CEO of Life, a show that celebrates India's young business leaders who not just believe in driving business growth, but also live a life of passion, live life to the fullest, so to say. And today, our guest is Umang Bedi, Managing Director, India and South Asia for Adobe. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. It's interesting, we've been doing some research on you. You were heading a software company at 29. How is that possible?
Well, I think I have, thanks so much, Karma, firstly, for having me and for the conversation. But I think I've been, things have worked well. I had a great start in terms of my career, in terms of working on some very significant opportunities across Sun and Semantic. And these software companies were poised at the right form of growth, where India was growing and we were representing the business. And we saw stupendous growth across the telecom, the mobile and the financial services verticals, which is what I was really looking after. And at that point of time, Intuit, which is a very well-known software company, came down and was looking at setting up operations they're a US-based company, so they were looking at setting up operations focused on India and emerging markets. And I had a conversation with them for about almost a year, where we spent some time building their business plan, and one thing led to another. And by 29, I was leading their business as their managing director for India and emerging markets.
Didn't you feel you were too young at that point?
Yeah, I think age is just a number, right? At the end of the day, I think it's about what you bring to the table and how you can add value. I think every business is yearning for individuals and leaders to add significant tangible value. And I think as long as you can do that, age is a number.
You were inspired by Steve Jobs. What part of him?
Now, if you think about it, there were three things about Steve that really made an impact on me. First was the ability to fail, and using failures as a stepping stone to success. So when he was ousted out of Apple, anyone could have gone into a depression after that, but he went and formed Pixar, which was a phenomenally large animation business, and then came back to Apple with a bang, right? The second thing which I love about him is his ability to create these experiences which really challenge all of what traditional businesses harp on listen to your customer, get feedback, voice of the customer. He kind of gave new experiences that customers and consumers had never dreamt about. And I think the third part that inspires me about him is his ability to use technology with high-end, sophisticated intellectual property and algorithms, and yet create something that's so simple.
Talking about your present company, which is Adobe, most of us who work in the media, artists, photographers, have been surrounded by Adobe products. They're all around us from the moment you start your careers or even in college. But from here on, if you want to reach out and see that any common man who's out there taking pictures on his mobile, on his iPad, get access to this kind of technology, how would you do that?
So it's interesting that you asked this question, fundamentally because about 9 months ago, Adobe went through an entire transformation internally as a company. We realized that we could not preserve the status quo forever. And we went and transformed our entire business and completely reimagined the entire creative process. And what I mean by that is, when you think about smart devices like smartphones and tablets, These devices are even more powerful than some of the computers that you and I use, but they were only being used as devices for consumption of information. Over the last 18 months, we've really worked to launch something which is known as the Creative Cloud. And the Creative Cloud is an amalgamation of all our best to use creative software, along with the ability to sync, share and store on the cloud with a community and training, all synchronized with 9 new mobile applications that will actually work on your tablets and your iPhones completely free of charge. So we've brought mobile into the entire workflow, and it's completely transformed our business. We've really done 3 innovations on this front. First, customers, if you remember the last time you updated Photoshop, it took you 12 to 18 months to get an update, whereas technology is changing far more rapidly. Today on the cloud, you get an update literally every day, if not every week, right? So we're able to get the latest and the greatest technology in the hands of our consumers as fast as possible. The second thing is affordability. Think about it, right? In a market like India, where price sensitivity is a huge equation, Photoshop used to cost 60 to 65,000 rupees per month, as a one-time charge. Today, with the move to the subscription model, we've made software far more affordable. So today, for instance, for photographers, like you said, there is a consumer pack that we have with Photoshop and Lightroom at 500 rupees a month. Now, that is really super affordable. I mean, a cup of coffee and a sandwich at Barista probably costs 500 bucks, right? So we've made it really, really affordable. And third, we've made it extremely simple to use and renew, and you can just go online and get that software for yourself. But the beauty is, in a market like India, where internet connection speeds can be fairly unpredictable depending on where you are, you do not need to be connected to the internet to use the Creative Cloud. So in my view, I think we've really gone out, and as Sinatra said, if you could do it in India, you can do it anywhere, right? And that's where I think if the model has worked here, it's working beautifully across the world.
Heading Adobe's operations for South Asia, Umang Bedi has relied on innovation and affordability as his key mantras for success. This has not only resulted in higher revenues, but it has also helped Adobe break free from the image of an expensive, license-based software company. At the heart of this transformation, though, lies Bedi's commitment to his workforce, his dream team.
I was speaking to Jeff Bezos of Amazon earlier, and he said the most important thing in his life were his customers, and he totally focused on his customers and he forgot about everything else. He wanted to give his customers the best. Okay. As far as Adobe is concerned, I know customer is very important for you too, but you also consider your employees to be extremely important.
Yeah, for us, our CEO says this very elegantly, and all of us in the leadership team believe this, that our intellectual property or our IP goes home every night and hopefully comes back the next morning. And we truly believe that our people are our largest and our biggest asset. And today we're leaders in the Creative Cloud or the Marketing Cloud segments, fundamentally because of some really awesome people that are out there creating products and selling products and making customers happy. And when you look at India, India today is relevant in terms of our people because we are, India is a huge hub for innovation. We have 1/3 of the company's R&D happening in this location, more than 28 products indigenously developed. We were recently awarded the 6th best place to work in India by the Great Places to Work Institute. And fundamentally, we've now been investing into our people via the check-in process, giving them agile feedback and really accelerating their individual development within the organization. So to us, people are an extremely integral part of our strategy.
In 2014, your company was named the 3rd greenest company in the world by Newsweek Green Rankings. How critical is it today? Because we were at your coffee area and we saw reduce, recycle. A small thing, but it does impact you in a certain way. How critical is this?
I think caring for the environment is something that is a core value within the company, and I think everything that we're doing, we launched a new campaign internally, which is our CSR campaign, which is create change, right? And it's all about driving change within the company. So today, when you look at it from the perspective of the kind of products that we're creating, our consumers are expecting us to be more energy efficient, more carbon neutral, more green in terms of our initiatives. The move to the cloud has actually shut down all our physical box good products, right? And that has really helped. But from a business side as well, Karma, it's fantastic because you ultimately see cost savings in terms of energy, and it's savings due to recycling of equipment and products. And at the end of the day, consumers want products that are greener, and I think that is something that we're always going to strive for.
One last question. The Prime Minister has been talking about India as a hub of innovation. Do you see that happening in the next 5 years, 10 years? When do you see that happening? And I'm talking about not just for the region, for the entire world. And what will it take for the country to be an innovation leader?
I'm personally quite bullish about the plans that the government has. When you think about what they're trying to do around smart cities, around what they're trying to do around smart governance, right? All of this is going to need systems, it's going to need technology, it's going to need intellectual capital, all of which is in India. I think the biggest advantage that we have is the demographic dividend, with being the oldest civilization and the youngest nation. And to me, that's going to be the game changer. Can we enable our children, our educational system to get people the right amount of learning early on? And that may not just be in technology, because you need an entire society to move up. It's not just creating one smart city that's going to make an impact. It has to have a broader impact. So I think technology has a larger role to play. Smart governance is going to be the need of the hour. And clearly, I think the country is in pretty good hands from at least the plans that we have on paper.
The biggest challenge that you see?
I think the biggest challenge there is going to be trying to get education empowered to every individual and human being, which is not rote learning based education, but creative education, creative means of letting society and children learn and grasp and become leaders of change for tomorrow. I think that's going to be the single game changer in the whole equation.
With that, time for us to go into a short break. When we come back, we'll be stepping out of the boardroom and learn about Umang and his many passions.
I've often felt that I could come to a point of burnout very often, because just at the pace at which you're running, I think the important part is longevity, right? It's not a 20-20 match. It's like a test match, right? And one has to realize how one has to pace oneself.
For Umang Bedi, golf is the greatest game ever played. One of his biggest passions. This sea of life took to golf just like a duck takes to water. Be it work or life in general, golf, Bedi believes, has all the answers. Welcome back. You're still with CEO of Life, and we are in conversation with Umang Bedi, the MD of Adobe in India and South Asia. And as you can see, we've changed location. We are at a golf course bang next to the lovely Nandi Hills. This segment, we're going to talk about Umang's passion, his philosophy for life, and because we are here, I'll also tell you that he loves golf. What is it about golf that drives you? You know, you are here for about 4 hours whenever you hit the course. Can you translate what you feel here into your life, into your work? Do you do that often?
You know, golf for me is something that happened about a year and a half ago, and it's almost like a labor of love. I feel when I come here, it is a very submissive state where it's almost like being in meditation. You know, and golf, like life, is not the game of perfect. So when I'm here for 4 hours, it's really the time that I spend with myself. It's about trying to master a game that no human being can be perfect at. So it's a very humbling experience. And a lot can be told about the character of an individual when you play on the golf course. So very often when I get new candidates that I'm hiring now, we are playing a game of golf with them. So you get to know a lot about them at the course.
So what you're saying is, if I want to work with Adobe, uh, I need to master my golf first, then you'll hire me?
No, that's not necessary. It's just that if the person who we are hiring does play golf, we often come out to get to know the individual, especially if it's a senior hire and someone in the leadership team. But you know, it's a game that is very humbling because you could have a really great day and a really bad one at the same time. So it's a game that's played in the mind. And you know, human beings play the game, so it's never going to be perfect. In fact, what I look for in golfers, and I see people who've mastered the game of golf, have really mastered what I call the 3 Ds, the 3 Cs, and the 3 Ps, right? So that's determination, drive, and absolute diligence around the game, practice, persistence, and patience, and finally concentration, you know, being calm and being completely cool on the course, right? So it's a mental game, let's put it that way. The amount of people I've met at the golf course, I mean, I've met 10-year-old kids who've now become my golf partners, right? And these kids are really talented.
Have you had an occasion when a 10-year-old, your friend, your golfing friend, called you in the middle of the meeting and said, look here, I need help with this particular shot or some equipment that I need to buy from abroad? Has that happened and they don't understand?
So, you know, I have had a very interesting incident. In fact, at this golf course, we were playing a tournament where it was an inter-school tournament and a kid had to have an adult. So it was a 2-ball paired up, and I was playing with this 10-year-old kid who's the first ranked in South of India. And he had a conversation with me, and this is